All right, guys, welcome to Shellanomics. Today, we are going to be talking about Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Still can't get that song out of my head when I read that. And we also have our Tales of the Ninja Turtles, which was a very short, I guess you call it series. There was only, I think, 6 in there. So, Christian, let's get right into it, my dude. Happy to have you here as always. And we're going to be getting sweaty with the first one here in Rise of the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, we want to go over all the Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics, which are not a lot. And we start off with a short comic called Getting Meat Sweats, which originally was published as a free comic for Halloween Comic Fest 2018. So, yeah. And in this nice little story, the Turtles and April, are Rise Turtles, they chase Meat Sweats, who has stolen a pizza delivery van from April's newest workplace. And Raph jumps into the van and is able to secure the pizza inside, which is the main goal. And then the team stops the van and Meat Sweats flies out of it. Then Meat Sweats attacks the team, but they work together with their mystic weapons and stuff, and they beat up Meat Sweats, and then they eat the pizza as Meat Sweats runs away. So that's pretty much it. It's just a short little adventure, just a short little fight with Meat Sweats, I guess.
Yeah, and what timeline do you think this takes place? It's definitely before the movie because Raphael is still the leader.
Yeah. These stories must definitely take place in the first season. With the next comic we're talking about, I think I can definitely say where it takes place very early in the series. But yeah, all of them must take place in the first season.
Seems like I think it's every season of Turtles so far, except Next Mutation got their own comics, which shows you how much Peter Laird did not like those Turtles because they were still the owners at that time. But everybody else, you get a TV show, you get a couple comics because you're exactly right. We're getting into pretty much they call it Rise of the Ninja Turtles here because Turtle Power, for those who can't see us here, we do have question marks for Turtle Power in this issue.
Yeah, we start with Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 0, because that was like the first issue of the main series, and it was like how should I put it? Like a teaser issue. Yeah, and this story must take place right after the very first episode. Right after the Turtles got their mystic weapons, because the story starts when the Turtles, they are just so happy to have these new weapons, and they want to try them out in the city. So the Turtles, they go to the surface and fool around with the mystic weapons. Meanwhile, April is chasing an Mosquito through the city, and the Turtles then run into some mutant silverfish who, after some fighting, form a big silverfish, like they fuse together and fight the Turtles. And more by accident, actually, the Mosquito that April was chasing gets smashed and nobody gets mutated. And the team then works together to beat up the silverfish. And after this is over, the Turtles and April celebrate the victory. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we're getting the basics down. Now, on the record, I did say I'm not the biggest fan of Rise. We've covered the TV series, Christian and I, on a previous episode on Shellanomics. But I will say it does have its moments. And in this next issue, I do like the term Chaos Jitsu.
Yeah, this is like when the main story of the comic starts, whatever you want to call it. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. The story here starts when the owner of a pet shop sees Huggin and Manin, the two gargoyles of Baron Draxum, and he follows them through a portal. And by doing this, he lands in the Mystic City. Draxum actually finds him and he mutates him into a rabbit mutant. He returns to New York and runs into the Turtles and April. And, well, they name him Man Bun because he's a man and a bunny. So that works. Draxum is watching the encounter between Turtles and Man Bun. And he's like sending him after the Turtles to test the Turtles. Like, they are my creation. I want to see how they how they do. And the turtles, they are able, by, as you said, using chaos jitsu, like going crazy with their mystic weapons and just crazy to defeat him. And Man Bun then escapes, but Man Bun runs into a shady person and gets captured. And that's the teaser. That's the cliffhanger of the first issue and the teaser for what might follow here.
I got it. Well, especially because in the next issue here, it's interesting to hear. I believe Raphael is the one who says Cowabunga. So, in case we ever have to do some trivia on these, which I hope I can have that in my core memory, it's going to be very hard, but it would be a great true or false just on a fast, rapid fire hot seat. And also, Splinter goes back to calling the turtles by colors, not by name. I do like that too. That does make me laugh.
Yeah, that's also one of the reasons why I think these issues have to take place early in the season because, as you said, they're still calling them colors and stuff like that. Splinter is still, well, the lazy Splinter from the start of the series. So, issue number 2 starts off on the Washington Bridge where the turtles run into a big group of people that mysteriously act like zombies. And Warren Stone is also there reporting on it. As the turtles escape the zombie horde, Warren Stone gets captured once again by a mysterious person. So, oh my god, he's also captured. At the lair, the turtles want to train more, but Splinter is, as I said, too lazy. They see a commercial for a hypnotherapy and think that this might help Splinter. So the turtles sneak Splinter into this group therapy, and it turns out that behind it is Hypnopotamus. Yeah, that's the big surprise there. He wants to hypnotize everyone and send them away to New Jersey so that he finally gets an apartment that he can pay for. Yeah, that's really, really his reason, and that's a reason I totally understand. but but the turtles jump in and beat him up. As Hypno runs off, he gets captured in a cage by the shady person again. So it seems like someone is after all these mutants in the city. More mystery.
Oh my gosh. Now, a quick little plug here, guys. If you do not check out another fantastic Ninja Turtles podcast, I want you to check out Epic Tales from the Sewers. Justin Cooper, the host, had myself and Christian on there. And this next issue we're about to cover, Christian mentioned there and got me excited to start covering these turtles because in the Tales of the Ninja Turtles cartoon, we also covered that here on Shellanomics, and Christian and I were like, just call the cat Old Hob. It looks like Old Hob. It talks like Old Hob. Just call it Old Hob. Yeah. And we've got another character that is very familiar with his color and tone and even has a bicycle. Feel free to break down this one. I'll give you all the credit for finding a you-know-who in this one, dude.
Yeah, third issue. This issue starts with a pizza delivery guy who is not named, but he looks very much like a very special pizza delivery guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Might check it out yourself. And that guy is driving past a destroyed Alberto's, and something is moving under the rubble. In the Turtles' lair, the Turtles can't decide from which pizzeria they should get their pizza from because the one side says, this one is the best, no, this is the best. So they make it a game. Don and Leo order from one pizzeria while Raph and Mike order from another. And whose pizza get delivered first wins, and the others have to pay for all the pizzas. So the Turtles then try to help their delivery guy getting through traffic the fastest. During this chaos, they run into a reawakened Alberto. And the bike of one of the delivery guys crashes into Alberto and fuses with the robot. And so he's now a robot cycle creature and very nightmare stuff, I gotta say. And he attacks the Turtles. But Alberto gets destroyed again, and the truck drives off with Alberto's parts. So it's like he gets kidnapped too. And in the end, it also turns out that one of the delivery guys was actually April with a new job. And so now in the end, the Turtles have pizza. And that's pretty much, everything's fine in the end.
It's totally Kino. Come on. I mean, he's got the bike. He's got the color. I mean, Kino. Come on. It's just like, it's so obvious. And it's interesting because they don't well, no, it was Tails that actually had, the Toka and Razor. So it was interesting to see, in Rise, because I didn't really see too many Easter eggs. I remember they did show like the 87 animation with Raphael in one of the episodes, but it was really cool to see Kino after that. So coming up next, it's almost like a two-parter here with more of our buddy Hypno and a huge brawl here too. I do like the brawl in this one. These comics do have great action in them, I will say.
Yeah, so issue number 4 of Rise of the TMNT. The turtles actually finally realized that someone is kidnapping all the mutants in town. So, to lure that guy out, April puts on a silverfish costume and runs around trying to, lure the kidnapper to her. Mikey, who put on another silverfish costume, tries to help, but then they both get attacked by the real silverfish mutants. And then Meat Sweats appears, hunting silverfish for his food, and April and Mike get captured by Meat Sweats, and the other turtles come to rescue them. Big fight, of course, and in the end, Meat Sweats runs off, and the turtles go after him. Just then, Turtles and April get caught in a cage by the mysterious kidnapper as well. And that's going to lead us into the big finale.
Dude, I can't wait for that finale. There's another part, I think it's either in this one or the last one, just with one of our buddies here. No, if I'm really going to test the turtles, I'll need to face them myself. Dude, that reminded me of Thanos in at the ending credits of one of those Avenger movies where he's like, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. So this brings us to Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 5, where the Turtles and April awaken after being unconscious when they were captured in a TV studio. And now we finally see the kidnapper who is behind it all. And it's pretty much one of my favorite bad guys from the show, Warren Stone himself, who brought together all these enemies of the Turtles and staged his own kidnapping. And of course, he wants revenge and sends the other bad guys after the turtles who don't have their weapons on them. So in this skirmish, April is able to get the turtles' weapons, lures some silverfish mutants to the place, and they scare off all the bad guys. So big brawl. And in the end, it turns out that Draxum was watching all this through a camera, and he was the one who was providing Warren Stone with everything he needed for his plan to see what his turtles are capable of. But Draxum realizes that next time he should take care of them himself. And that's where the story ends.
Love that line, so good. And I read it because now that was the John Cena character, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because I read that in John Cena's voice, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know there's a reason why. I'm like, yes, it is the guy. Okay. Coming up next, we have one of the more bizarre. I think Bebop and Rocksteady had to inspire this lactose intolerant ink, don't you?
We are talking about the Rise of the TMT sound off 3-parter, or?
Yeah, I think so. Is that right? Where I got
okay. Yeah. And now I know what you mean. Yeah, it starts off with this this place. Yeah.
Very random
just
building.
Realized.
Yeah, your notes are more detailed than mine. I just throw in these crazy odds and ends that I want other listeners to enjoy, and just to try and get them like, ooh, I kind of want to go find that Easter egg.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in these comics, there are actually some very funny visual gags here and there. So there's always something to find. So as you said, then after the end of the 5 issues Rise of the TMNT comics, there was a 3-part miniseries, Rise of the TMNT Sound Off. And in this story, it starts off with finding out about our main bad guys of the story. They're called the Silent Cheese, and they are stealing stuff in the city. And they are 3 mutants called Nat, who is a fish who can silence his surrounding, Natalie, a mosquito who can shoot exploding spit, and Gnarly, a narwhal who can shoot water fountains out of his horn. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have April, who should have a speech at the music festival, but she gets stage fright. So Splinter agrees to train her to help her there. The turtles, meanwhile, investigate the robberies and run into the silent cheese. And Natalie shoots spit at the turtles, which explodes. The silent cheese escape with an ice cream truck and a lot of stolen puppies. I'm not kidding here. In the lair, the turtles try to find out more about the gang, and it turns out that April actually knows them because some time ago she was working at an aquarium, and the silent cheese were her co-workers there, still humans back then. And at that aquarium, April was holding a speech when suddenly everyone disappeared, and that's how she developed stage fright. So it all connects. Turtles and April go to that aquarium, and there they run into the silent cheese. They escape, but the turtles realize that the silent cheese steal all stuff that's loud and noisy because it pretty much annoys them. And the next target it is April's music festival. So at the music festival, the turtles get ready for their attack. And suddenly the silent cheese appear and start stealing all the music instruments. So the turtles then are able to take out Gnarly and Natalie, but Ned escapes into the subway. Turtles follow him and work together to knock him out. And then he tells April that it wasn't actually her fault back then at the aquarium, because everyone at the aquarium ran away because they saw how the mosquitoes mutated the three and that scared them away. And it was not because April's speech was horrible or anything. So April is now ready as she returns to the music festival, gives a great speech, and the music starts with the turtles watching. And yeah, that's the end of the Rise of the TMNT comics.
Dude, I had so much fun with reading those. It reminded me of those old CDs that now that's what I call music. I'm sure that's what inspired the music festival. Mikey looks awesome in this too, by the way. This is one where, I don't know if you know, probably not, but if there is an action figure that looks like that, I would so love to buy that Mikey in his like rap kind of cool kids attire because he looks just like the Mike raps from our generation. So it would be so cool to have that as an action figure. I like these, dude. I liked it a lot more than I did the TV show. One question I wanted your take on, though, is if you remember, I called this the Donatello show, and I didn't really see Donatello getting as much love in this series. I feel it was more spread out. Like each turtle had its moment. So any reasons why I don't want to say they watered down Donnie, but he didn't get his moments in this like he did in the TV show.
As you mentioned it, yeah, you're right. I didn't really realize that because, this stories, this comics, they are, as you say, they're pretty even. Like every turtle has his spotlight, but it's not like, okay, this issue is all about Mikey, this issue is all about Rev. So it really feels like, okay, the turtles are all in this story. So yeah, it seems like there was more a focus on the bad guys here. Like, okay, this issue is about meat sweats. Issue is about Hypno, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you're right. There wasn't really a focus on one turtle. So it more in these issues, there were more focused on all the turtles as a team. And yeah, that's very interesting, I gotta say.
Yeah, maybe that's why I had more fun. And it wasn't well, watching the TV show was more or less almost like Looney Tune shorts, right? Remember, it was a lot of two-part episodes in one. No Foot Clan mention here either, so like you were saying as well, these were really early in the series. And what are your final thoughts on the Rise comics? I encourage all fans to read them, even if you didn't really like the TV show. I thought these were great, and it's a very quick read, too. It's not going to take you could probably read this in a couple hours, even shorter.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't do more of these. I mean, yeah, with the first five, it's one storyline, and then we got the miniseries, and so yeah, that's it. But I really could have seen more of these. But yeah, as I say, if you like Rise, you should definitely check them out. And even if you don't like Rise, maybe, I don't know, check out issue 0 to get a taste of the comics, and maybe really you're more into that. And so yeah, might check it out. I also think they really got the characters down from the show. The art is cool. It really works. It's you immediately know these are the same turtles from the show. So there's no problem there. So yeah, I just had fun with them. I just had fun.
And for OG fans, I know a lot of you guys are in our age group of 30s, 40s. You get to see Kino in a comic, so right there, that's another selling piece. You can check these out. Disclaimer: we are not getting paid by Amazon, but this is part of their Kindle subscription. If you have Amazon, you can try it for a free trial, and it won't cost you a dime. There's other ways to get these books, like Hoopla. That's another place I go from my library. It's digital reads. It's a lot of fun. And speaking of fun, another shocker, dude. I mean, maybe you're just rubbing off on me. I had fun reading these Tales comics too. Maybe because they're shorter and it wasn't like 50,000 issues, maybe. Which we had fun with IDW, but you know what I mean. Just because these two, when I watched the TV shows, these didn't really hit home, and maybe it's because I just was never a fan of the voices from Tales. No disrespect to the actors, just personal preference. How I grew up with my turtles. And maybe just because I'm not reading this and their voices, I had more fun with them, but. These are great too. There's only going to be 6 we break down. If you're a fan of Bishop in the show, you're going to enjoy these because Bishop's pretty much the almost like the main antagonist. But yeah, let's get right into it, and then we'll hear your final thoughts. So we've got Irma popping in issue 1 over here.
Yeah. So it's like, so far we have 6 issues of the Tales of the TMNT comics based on the TV show, based on the movie. And yeah, each story is 3 issues. So we got 2 issues so far. I don't know if we will see more of this in the future. I would really like to see more of this. But, since the TV show is canceled, I'm not sure if we will get more in the future. So far, there has been no announcement. Anyway, let's jump into this comics. Tales of the TMNT number 1. It starts off with Donatello, who is telling a tale in the turtle's lair. And in the story, Donatello is trying to repair Metalhead with the help of Irma and Ian, but it doesn't work. And Irma and Ian, 2 characters that we saw in the 2nd season of the show. Donatello then gets an invitation to a robotic summer camp, and with the resources there, Donatello was actually able to repair Metalhead. And so, Donatello pretty much had a good time there and was just surrounded by like-minded people. And then the campers were told that it's time to show off the creation in the arena. So, the robots have to fight each other. Metalhead has to fight Rusty, who is a giant robot built by Xavier, who pretty much became Donatello's rival at the camp. But after some problems, Metalhead was actually able to win, and the camp counselor then turns out to be working for Bishop and the EPF. So, Bishop is back, and she's behind the camp. And this will be troublesome in the future.
Dude, it's this is just quick. What I like about these is they're just very fast, and it's you had that you can't miss TV. That's kind of how these comics are, because in the next one we get right into a nice race, which gets who doesn't love a good race?
With this issues, I really gotta say, once again, they really get the characters down.
Yes.
The turtles are the turtles from the TV show, and the art is not the same art from the TV show, but it totally works because it's got its own, when I always say, like in the movie or the TV show, have this scribble feeling, like it's a little sloppy, but it's meant to be that way, if you know what I mean. And they did the same thing here with these comics. They really got their own style, and really, really enjoy this. So, issue number 2 of Tales of the TMNT. In the camp, Don, Irma, and Ian want to go for a swim, but Ian has to go back because he was missing something to the robotics lab, and there he runs into Bishop and her agents, and they capture him. So later, Ian is missing, but it's time for another challenge. It's a parkour run through the forest with the robots. And while doing this, Donatello gets attacked by Rusty and is able to defeat him. Later at night, there's a dance, and Don and Xavier start fighting again because Xavier thinks, "Oh, Donnie, you destroyed my, or you hurt my robot." And Donnie's like, "Yeah, but he came after me." And like, "No, he would never do that." So together, they find out that someone was reprogramming the robots, and that's why Donatello got attacked. And that someone is none other than Bishop. So Irma, Don, and Xavier then get captured by none other than Bishop, and that's the big cliffhanger of the issue number 2.
Yeah, and right back into issue 3, it's not in the Brady Bunch was Marsha, and this is just Bishop, and I'm not opposed to it, not opposed to it at all. I like the Bishop character in this one.
Yeah, I mean, when you bring in robots, it seems like always has to do something with Bishop in this series. So it makes sense in a way. So issue number 3, which is the first finale of that storyline, we go back to the Turtles lair, and the other turtles, Raph, Mike, and Leo, they cause a blackout, and they get help from Wingnut. And Wingnut then, as she talks to the turtles, realizes that Dawn can't be reached. It's like his phone is off, and his phone is never off. So something must be wrong at the camp. So Rev, Mike, Leo, Wingnut, Man Ray, and Pigeon Beat drive to that camp. Meanwhile, in the arena where the tournament was earlier, Bishop sends the robots under her control to destroy Donatello, but Donnie is able to free himself and fights Metalhead. Then the other turtles and friends come in to fight all the robots, while Donatello wants to reprogram the robots, but Rusty, who is under Bishop's control, destroys the main computer, so that doesn't work. But Donatello has another idea, and the whole team lures the robots to the lake, and all the robots land in the water, which short circuits them. And so the robots are defeated, but Bishop escapes. And yeah, that's the end of the tale. And in the lair, the whole gang comes together, including a finally fully repaired and functional Metalhead. And Donnie is just happy to have his Metalhead back. And so, yeah, nice little ending to that storyline.
Okay, now this is one I know you are, how Mr. Burns does is excellent. I can just tell with this next issue. I did not see this coming at all. Maybe you did with your previews, because again, you're a diehard Turtle fan, and and you keep up with the comics more than I do in regards to sneak peeks. So, before we get into issue 4, did you know that this character was coming?
As you say, I saw the previews. Okay. Yes. So I knew that he was coming, and I heard rumors about another character coming, and I had no idea how they're going to include that character. And yeah, but still, I was when I read this story the first time, I was actually surprised how close the story and the character is to the Mirage origin. So yeah, it's very cool. I thought it was very interesting that they include this character in like the comic and not the actual TV show. But there's no more. The TV show is no more, or the movie, because it's a main character for the Turtles. So, but gotta say, the story is really cool, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
And I like his look too. I've been wanting to say I'm not a fan of most of the Tails designs. I dug his design. So without further ado, what the F? He's here, dude. Feel free to bring us in with issue number 4.
Yeah, that story starts off with that there was an explosion at the EPF building, and the Turtles tell April what happened there. So some time ago, at the docks, there was a delivery for the Earth Protection Force, and the Turtles see a robot who is sabotaging the EPF, Bishop, and Agent Blank, who is like the main guy for this operation. And yeah, also a name that we have heard before. The Turtles and the robot, who is called the Fugitoid, escape together, and he tells them his story. His name is actually Satan Honeycutt, and he was a young scientist who was hired by the EPF. And he created the Manta Wave helmet with which he could control other beings. And he tested it on his little pet crab. And the EPF wanted to use this to control mutants or even humans. But Honeycutt didn't want to have any part of this, so he wanted to stop this and destroy his invention. But the EPF tried to stop him, and Honeycutt used the Manta Wave helmet to control his helper robot. Because of an explosion, his mind was then transferred into the robot, and he became the Fugitoid. At EPF, Bishop was able to recreate the Manta Wave helmet, and with it, they can control Subject C to hunt the Fugitoid. And Subject C is a giant humanoid Triceratops. Like, where does he come from? And but we don't really get an answer to that. So yeah, but that's the end of issue number 4.
I guess it's not really a trivia question because you probably will know the answer, but what does the writer of issues 4, 5, and 6 have in common with something else in the Ninja Turtles world?
If I remember correctly, he was also the writer for the Chrome Alone short movie.
Is that why I like these turtles? Because we did talk about Chrome Alone too, and we had a lot of fun. So Andrew Joustra, I apologize if I botched your last name, sir. Tip of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cap to you. We from this writing, we can tell you're a passionate fan of the old stuff, and you do a great job blending it into Ninja Turtles here too. Don't you think so, Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I meant. I did not know how close to the previous versions of the character of the Fugitoid this whole thing would be. I was really surprised. Also, there's some once again some nice little Easter eggs, and you really get the feeling that he is really a TMNT fan himself, because he's really knowing his stuff, like the Fugitoid from the Mirage comics and so on and so forth. So he really put into this little Easter eggs and callbacks to the origin story from the original comics. So I was really surprised how good this whole thing worked.
Yeah, and it works great because it's got a little bit of comedy, but it's got more of the, someone's probably gonna say you're crazy, but more of the IDW original feel, like just those, like, dude, I gotta turn the next page, I gotta see what's happening next, because it keeps you hooked. Feel free to take our listeners into Tales number 5.
So yeah, this story starts off with the turtles and Honeycutt, and they go to the turtles' lair. And Lonay, who is an agent working for Blank, followed them. But it turns out that she wants to help them. And she tells them about the finished Manta Wave helmet and the creature that will come after them. So Honeycutt builds some jammer glasses for the turtles so that they can't be controlled. And as they are on the way to the EPF, they get attacked by the Triceratops creature, and it's called Zog. So Honeycutt is able to escape, but the turtles get captured by the EPF. And in a cell, they sit together with Zog, who turns out to be really friendly, to be a really nice character when he is not controlled by the EPF. So Honeycutt goes back to the turtles' lair, and the EPF will have the Manta Wave antenna that they're working on ready in 24 hours. And with it, they will be able to control the whole city. And as the turtles get ready to escape and stop this whole thing, Honeycutt gets ready to train with Splinter to get some ninjutsu instructions from him to finally be able to help the team. And so, that's Tales of the TMT number 5. And once again, I gotta say, I did not expect to see Zog the Triceraton in this. I mean, once again, I gotta say, I saw the previews, so there was some rumors that he might appear, but I did not know how they would include him in this universe, because we did not get any aliens yet in this universe. So would he be an alien? Would he be a mutant? the answer is we don't know because there was a scene when April asked them turtles about, okay, so what is Zorg? And the turtles like, I think he's an alien. No, he's a mutant. No, I think he's a demon. So we never really get an answer how he is able to be in this universe, but Zorg is in the universe and he's a pretty chill guy, so everything's fine, I guess.
Yeah. And we've got, unfortunately, like Christian says, we cannot confirm if there will be any more, but we do have one more to cover here, and it recently just came out too, I believe, only a couple weeks ago. I think it's maybe 10 days old. Issue number 6, and we start off with April in Channel 6.
Yeah, because April tries to sell this story to Channel 6 with the Fugitoid. And she goes on with the story where Lonace is helping the turtles to escape and they storm off to destroy the antenna. But Blank has Zorg under his control again and he attacks the turtles again. After some training in the turtles' lair, Honeycutt gets a white mask from Splinter and a weapon and runs off to save the turtles. So Honeycutt is able to knock out Zorg with an energy blast, but now the antenna is activating and the turtles are under Blank's control. So Fugitoid gets attacked by all 4 turtles and gets hurt really bad by the turtles, but he uses all his energy to destroy the antenna. And then his robot body shuts down. In the turtle's lair, Donnie is able to re-energize Honeycutt and he wakes up again. Honeycutt, Zorg, and Lonay have to leave to find a new life to hide from the EPF. So in the end, we see that they go to Japan and they open a super robot hotel to great success. So happy end for them. We will see them again in the future. I hope so, but you never know. You never know with these stories. So yeah, we will see what the future will bring.
Any question, or I guess any inside info as to why this got canceled? Is it because the TV show also got canceled and they're pushing the Teeny Ninja Turtles a little bit more, maybe?
The thing is, I have not heard an official cancellation yet. But I looked through the previews for the next few months and there was no mention of Tales of the TMNT. So I'm not sure. Maybe there will be a surprise and suddenly it will pop up again. But you know, with the TV show where it is based on is cancelled, I don't know if they will produce any more of these comics. I would really like to. I would really like to see more of these comics, to see more of these stories from this universe. But for now, it does not look like it. I think the main reason would be, as I said, that the TV show is cancelled and you don't have a TV show going with the comic. I mean, it was pretty much the same thing with Rise of the TMNT when there was no TV show anymore. They're not doing any comics. And yeah, as you say, soon we will get the Teeny Mutant Ninja Turtles. So maybe we will see some comics from that universe next. Who knows? I would not be against it. Could be fun. Could be fun. So yeah, we will see. Once again, we will see what the future will bring.
Yeah, we may have a new owner still, right, with Mattel, I think, for the Turtles next year. So a lot of big changes coming our way.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this was another fun one, though, man. It was a little bit shorter because it wasn't as long. Any final thoughts on Rise and Tales? I'm with you all the way. I encourage all people, even if you're not a fan of Tales or Rise, the TV shows, to at least give the comics a try. I think you'll like them a little bit more than the TV show.
Oh, that could be. But if you like the TV shows, you should definitely check out these comics because, as I said, with Rise and Tales, you really these are the same characters. You really feel that these are the same characters. This is the same universe. So you just get more from this world that you like. So yeah, you definitely can't go wrong with that.
All right. Did you have a favorite moment in here? Again, it was really hard for me to pick. Well, Fugitoid, I think. I guess Kino in the Rise and Fugitoid for me in the Tales. Did you have any other favorite moments over in your neck of the woods for these?
Um, yeah, I think with the rise of the TMNT comic, I was a big fan of the twist that the big bad guy was Warren Stone, because I just love that guy. He's such a goofy but funny character. And with Tails, yeah, just the inclusion of the Fugitoid and Zog that really came out of left field. And I really enjoyed what they did with the characters here. And I just would like to see more of them in the future. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So if there will be more Tales of the TMNT comic, I would be totally there for it. So just in the vein of this, like the story, I would be totally up for it. So yeah, who knows? Fingers crossed.
Yep. Well, one can never have too many turtles in their life, like we know with your channel, because if anyone wants to see, I mean, we've done a lot of comics here in the last month, but there's still Saturday Morning Adventures, Shredder, Casey Jones. We know you also recently gave a more in-depth look of the Ninja Turtles Godzilla comic book crossover. If people want more Ninja Turtles, Christian, what's coming up on your show over there?
Well, plans for the next episode that should come out next week is actually I want to talk a little more about the Tales of the TMNT comics, like the last
Nice.
3 issues that, well, we pretty much, like, I just gave you a teaser. So if you're like,
Yes.
oh, I would like to hear more about it, hey, maybe next week on TMNT, their talk, my channel, on my podcast, you might actually get that. So maybe.
Yes, absolutely. Especially with more, and we know how much you love Fugitoid, so I'm excited to hear more of you. Just sharing how great it is to have him back. A little bit more on Zog. It'll be interesting to hear your take on Zog too. Like, did you like this one better than the older one? And your guess as to what you feel Zog is. So I definitely will check that one out. That's gonna do it today, though, guys. As always, my dude, thank you for hanging out with us on Shellanomics, and until next time.
Yeah, anytime, my man. Cowabunga, dudes.